everyone, welcome to Crafting with a Cocktail, where we make crafts and cocktails all in one segment. My name is Daniela and I'm super excited you're here. Today is a lemon collab with my friend Theresa DIY. I'll tell you more about her in just a minute, but before we do anything else, let's jump right into our first DIY. Cheers! The first DIY is this cute lemonade tray. I bought the tray itself at Dollar General and then used my Cricut to get some decals going. Now, if you don't have a Cricut, you could try to look for rub-on transfers or stickers for this, but this just made the process a lot easier for me. So I just Googled like lemon outline clip art or something like that, uploaded it into my Cricut, and then had them cut out in 2 different color vinyls. So here I am just peeling off the excess using this little like tweezers type of utensil. I'm not really sure. I couldn't find my weeding tool, but this worked just as well. Then I am using transfer tape on each one individually because I didn't want them all in a certain like pattern necessarily. I wanted to be able to put them wherever I wanted. So I am just cutting small squares of transfer tape and putting one on each of the lemon pieces. Now, what I could or should have done is to make the contact piece, or sorry, the transfer tape less tacky by first touching it on the fabric or something, because I did have a hard time when I was pulling it back, which you'll see in just a minute here. But in the meantime, enjoy watching me place some of these delicious lemon slices. Once they're all placed, I am just peeling back my transfer tape, which did give me a little bit of trouble. Like I said, I wish I would have made it a little less tacky first, but that's okay. Lesson learned for next time. No big deal. And as you can see, I am watching How I Met Your Mother in the background, which was a lot of fun because I haven't watched that in quite some time. Once they are all laid and good to go, I'm taking some white crafting paint that is the like multi-surface kind. It'll show you or tell you on the bottle if it's one that can be used on multiple surfaces. And so that's what I'm doing here. I pulled up a font that I liked, and so I am doing my best to imitate it. And anywhere where I kind of screwed up or I needed to adjust a little bit, I just fix it with a paper towel, and I also end up grabbing some Q-tips, dipping those in a little bit of water, and then using the dry side to clean up anything that I needed to, which ended up working out pretty well for me. I did this by hand just to show you guys that it's not impossible, for one, and for two, you don't need a Cricut to make it look nice. This is by no means any sort of perfect lettering, but as you see in the result, it does turn out quite nice. So I just wanted to empower you to just give it a try, pull up a font you like, and just do your best. And if you don't like it, you can always wash it off and start fresh, or use some sort of transferring. You could print it and cut it out and trace it, do whatever you need to, but you don't need a Cricut and you don't need to have perfect handwriting to make something look nice. Just do your best. Here is where the trouble begins. I thought I could Mod Podge this to seal it in case it gets wet, or if I'd like to have glasses with drinks on it and the condensation and all that. But no, as you can see, the Mod Podge is totally resisting this tray, which I guess makes sense if it's like supposed to resist liquid. But what's worse is that it completely ruined the handwriting in the word fresh, as you just saw. So I did end up having to go back with a wet paper towel and a dry paper towel as best as I could, and then repainting the word fresh. Off camera, I do try to clean up some of the other gluage, but I had to leave it around the word lemonade, which you can't tell in the final result. But obviously up close you can tell. So anyways, don't use Mod Podge for this one. Either way, I think it ended up looking beautiful, and I think it's really cute for summer, and I can't wait to serve some drinks on it. Hopefully the paint won't peel. Like I said earlier, this is a collab with my friend Theresa from Theresa B DIYs. She has some really great DIYs. She's got kind of a mix of styles, I want to say. So definitely go check out her. Information will be in the link in my description. I'm super excited to see what type of lemon DIYs she created. I got a little sneak peek and I just can't wait to watch. So thanks, Theresa, for collabing with me. All right, you know what time it is. Let's check out today's lemon-inspired cocktail. We are making a super simple small batch recipe of limoncello. You just need water, sugar, vodka, and lemons. That's it. So I'm starting out by making some simple syrup. I am just heating equal parts of sugar and water. I ended up doing 1 cup of each. The recipe that I will have linked below, which is the one that I followed, does about double. So I believe it does 2 cups. I am just doing the 1 cup because I just didn't need that much. So here you can see I'm stirring it, and I'm going to let that sit and stir it occasionally until it's completely clear on like a lowish medium heat. I don't want it to boil or bubble over, caramelize, or anything like that. In the meantime, as you can see, I'm cutting up a bunch of lemon slices, stuffing them into a jar. I do end up using 2 jars total. So it had to fit that way. It just wasn't going to fit in one of them. So now my mixture is clear, and I'm going to add 1 cup of vodka. So I'm giving that a good stir, and then I'm going to turn my heat off and just kind of let that infuse with itself. Once I've got that all ready, I transferred it to a pourable measuring cup, which, as you can see, I made a giant mess anyways. I'm not sure how or why, but yeah, it kept spilling all over the place. But anyways, I topped off my jars except for about a 1/2 inch at the top, and I'm just leaving them nice and tight, giving them a small shake, and leaving them overnight. This is an overnight limoncello recipe. Some of them call for sitting for several weeks. But honestly, it turned out great. A little bit sweet. I would say maybe a little bit less simple syrup next time if I were to adjust. But anyways, here I'm just pouring it into a glass. 2 days later, I ended up leaving mine overnight for 2 days. And the flavor is really infused and delicious. Like I said, just a little sweet for me. But I will leave you the link for the recipe I used below in case you're interested in trying today's limoncello cocktail. Our second DIY is this wreath-like wall hanging that I think is super sweet and simple, yet, I don't know, fashionable or chic. I'm not sure, but I like it as home decor. I'm just taking a Dollar Tree bag and cutting a circle that I just roughly etched out using this vine that's also from the Dollar Tree as a basis. And I'm just going to cut that out. It doesn't have to be super perfect as long as it's close to what I wanted, and then I'm going to trace that same circle out onto a piece of cardboard. This cardboard piece was really thick, so I actually ended up needing my boyfriend to help me cut it because I was really struggling with it. But anyways, that's the tea on that. So I really wanted to feature a hand-drawn lemon in the middle, just for, I don't know, that homey handmade touch. So I just looked up a picture of a lemon that I liked on my phone, and I am just drawing that onto my yellow paper here. Once it's all drawn out and ready to go, I'm going to hot glue my cardboard to my paper. Now, the reason I drew it separately is because, cardboard has those weird lines on it, and when you draw on it, it kind of comes through with whatever you're drawing. I don't know how to explain that other than it gives it like a weird wavy look to it. So that's why I drew it before gluing the two together, and I'm just using hot glue to do that. Next, I'm going to actually start working with my vine. Like I said, this is from Dollar Tree, and it's got like a wire in the middle, so it's moldable. So I am just using hot glue to get it to stick in place, and I use the whole thing, which wraps around it a total of 2 times. What you don't see much of is that after I glue it down, I do cut off several of the leaves and start placing them where I think it's appropriate. I do have part of that clip in here, but I did actually end up spending a good amount of time doing that so that it looked nice and full. Last but not least, I'm taking some thick jute cord and just cutting it to a size that I like, creating a loop with it, and then applying a nice heavy amount of hot glue to adhere it to the back. And this is just going to be our hanger for the piece. Easy as that. I really like this one because, again, it feels homey because it's got that nice homemade touch of the drawing, but the fun, bright colors. And I don't know, I really like the way this one stood out, to be honest. Let me know what you guys think in the comments down below, if you agree with me or if it's a little bit too far out of your lane. Before we move on to my last DIY, I wanted to extend a special cheers to all of you who are new to my channel. My name is Daniela and I love making anything fun and friendly on a budget. So if you like anything like that, please hit that subscribe button below. When you like, comment, and subscribe to my channel, it really helps me to grow, to bring other people to my channel. I'm working hard to try to get monetized, so I hope you stick around. Now, let's check out what I made for the last DIY. But not least is this fun and colorful lemon framed piece, which I absolutely love. I love the pops of colors, the contrast and patterns. Seriously, this one's so easy and yet so gorgeous. So I'm taking a Dollar Tree placemat and the back of a frame. So I had made a window DIY a long time ago where I took out the backs of the frames. So I just had a back of a frame laying around. You could obviously use a new frame that you just pick up at the dollar store or whatever, but I'm using what I had. Traced the size I wanted, including that piece so that I would make it big enough, and then just cutting the placemat as you can see here. And then I am just going to use my handy dandy glue gun and glue them together. Once they're glued together, I'm going to cut out my lemon shapes. I am just drawing the shape of a lemon on the back of some glitter cardstock, and then I'm going to do the same on one of those Dollar Tree paper bags, again, that you can find in a 3-pack in the party section, by the way. I'm pretty sure they have the plain colors like this all year round, so you're totally fine there. I like that it's not a seasonal item. So I ended up cutting that out. I cut out 2, so it was folded. So I ended up cutting out 2 of that one, which I end up using at the very end. You'll see why. I kind of make a little bit of a mistake, but here I'm just playing with arrangement. You could arrange this seriously however you want. I liked the idea of 3, but it just wasn't working for me. I ended up with 2 and then using the third one to cover a mistake, which you'll see later. Before I do that, I am going to take some more thick jute cord and just hot glue it around the edges. It just felt like it was missing something. I don't know, it just felt like it needed to be framed. Maybe it's because it was using the back of a frame, I don't know. But it just felt like it needed something. So I'm just going around, taking my time, hot gluing the jute cord around the edge. Now I'm just hot gluing everything into place. I ended up using one of the extra leaves from the vine from the last DIY just to add even more color and a little bit of a pop of dimension, and I just glue those three down. Now I go in and add those little dots that I had added in another lemon DIY, and I decided I didn't like it for this particular piece. So this is where I end up taking that second lemon that I had cut out and just gluing it right over it. This was just the easiest solution, and you can barely even tell. If you like those dots, of course, you could leave them, but since there was no other black in this piece, it just felt like it was standing out too much, and it just wasn't giving me the right vibe. So, yeah, super simple, super sweet. I think these were all incredibly easy and yet fun DIYs. I really hope you enjoyed them, and I'll see you next time. Bye.